team leader of this oil scandal is William Ruto, Felix Koskei, and the abroad-based expert, the CS for Energy and Petroleum, Mr. Opiyo Wandayi. We wish to draw the attention of Kenyans to one of the greatest fuel scandals in the history of independent Kenya. We have deliberately taken time to look into the oil scandal that has hit Kenya.
Ladies and gentlemen, DCP leader Rigathi Gachagua was at a press conference following the mid-April, May 2026 fuel price hike, and what the former Deputy President laid out was not a general complaint. It was a structured, targeted political assault on President William Ruto, naming companies, naming officials, and attaching a personal financial figure directly to the president. Here is what this video is about. Gachagua made 5 specific allegations that President Ruto personally gains 5 shillings for every litre of fuel consumed in Kenya currently, that Gulf Energy, allegedly proxy company linked to the president, was irregularly inserted into the emergency fuel supply framework, that the government-to-government oil deal with Saudi Aramco has been captured by politically connected intermediaries, that the arrest of former petroleum peers Mohammed Liban and former EPRA Director General Daniel Kipto are a political cover-up, and that Energy CS Opiyo Wandayi must resign. Those are the 5 pillars of this offensive. The fuel price increase that triggered all of this is not in dispute. Petrol jumped for over 16 shillings and diesel for over another 20 shillings. Those numbers that hit every Kenyan: transport cost, food price, household budget. The economic pain is real and widespreading. Gachagua's calculation is to take that pain and direct it politically at one address: Statehouse. That 5 shillings per litre personally gain allegation is the sharpest instrument in that offensive. It is unverified. Gachagua has not produced documented evidence in the public domain to substantiate it. However, the political function of the claim is clear. It personalizes the fuel crisis. It shifts the public narrative from global oil market dynamic to domestic political cooperation, and it places the president at the center of what corruption by name and by figure. The Gulf Energy allegations adds a corporate layer to that narrative. Gachagua's faction claims the company was inserted into the emergency fuel supply framework under the 2013 or 2023 petroleum imports regulation, despite missing submission deadline and failing technical evaluation. If that procurement record is accurate, it represents a serious regulatory breach. The allegation is specific enough, naming the company, naming the regulatory framework, naming the year, to be investigated and either verified or refuted. That specificity is deliberate. Vague allegations are dismissed. Specific ones demands responses. Following that, the G2G framework criticisms target the government-to-government oil deal with Saudi Aramco, the former deputy president argues that what was designed as a transparent state procurement mechanism has been converted into a channel for politically connected intermediaries. The breakdown of the oversight in state procurement is not a new concern in Kenya, but attaching it directly to the Saudi Aramco deal by name and by the mechanisms escalates the accusation from a general governance complaint to a specific corruption claim against the current administration. The framing of the energy officials arrested as a cover-up is where Gachagua political strategy become most calculated. The former petroleum PS Mohammed Liban and former EPRA Director General Daniel Kipto were arrested over allegations related to the importation of substandard fuel. The DCP leader's position is that these officials were implementing lawful directives and are now being used as scapegoats, while those who have the directive face no accountability. That argument, selective prosecution shielding those at the top, is one that resonates with a public already skeptical of how accountability is applied in Kenya. Crucially, Gachagua attached a deadline to all this, a 7-day ultimatum demanding pump prices be reduced by 30 shilling, failing which it threatens a nationwide protest to shut down the country. He also demanded the immediate resignation of Energy PS and CS Opiyo Wandayi and the total cancellation of G2G fuel framework and the suspension of fuel levy. Beyond that, he launched Operation Fagia, a campaign to systematically vote out the remaining parliamentarians and regional allies of the president. The timing of this entire offensive is not accidental. Gachagua is building his opposition credentials in public using a cost of living crisis as a primary organizing tool. Fuel prices are the most visible economic pressure points in Kenya right now. They feed into every other price in the economy. By planting his flag on this issue, naming specific companies, specific officials, and attaching a specific shillings figure to the president, the DCP leader is forcing the government to either respond and defend it or stay silent and let the allegation settle in public consciousness unanswered. Either way, Gachagua wins the news cycle, and in the 18 months before general election, the news cycles accumulate into a political reality.